The Business Journal is bringing you an in-depth look at the Medici Museum of Art's new exhibit, Norman Rockwell, American Scouting Collection. In part 3 of our 4-part series, Bill Mullane, curator of the exhibit, discusses works by other artists in the collection, with themes of U.S. history, pop culture, and diversity.
In the lobby, both when you come and you leave, you end with Joseph Sestari's work, and we've done a small 4-piece exhibit of his pieces for the Boy Scouts. The 3 pieces that we chose here were because of the similarities in theme to the Norman Rockwell paintings, but also how things have changed. His first painting, which is Boy Scouts across the winter and spring, across the seasons, and you can see cleverly how the painting, half the painting takes place in the winter and half in the spring, summer. But it's kind of just melded together in a way that is very interesting. And this demonstrates, again, that attachment to forgotten country, individual achievement, leadership, the Cub Scout to Boy Scout to adult with historic figures behind them. Again, a much more crowded canvas like we saw at the end of Norman Rockwell's career. And then this painting, which was in response to 9/11. So this painting entitled 9/11 shows the response from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts to first responders in front of the American flag and the towers broken behind it. And it was done, again, as in response to that event. So this was a good series to place here. And as I said before, what you'll notice is as time went on, Boy Scouts also became a diverse group. And you'll start to see that throughout the paintings, students from African American students, students of Oriental descent, Native American students, all were participating in Scouting. In this section of the exhibit is just an attempt to show the scope of the Boy Scout collection and the other artists that are in it. We chose 3 of Walt Disney's pieces. Walt Disney, probably the best known of the illustrators, who also was a filmmaker and a cartoonist. And we have, his 3 pieces here, Mickey and Donald in their Boy Scout caps, who at the time was the president of the Boy Scouts of America, Good Scouts, and the Duckling Troop, and then an actual cell from Sea Scouts, which was a Boy Scout short that Disney did. So that's a cell from the actual animation that was done by an animation artist. And then as we kind of go around a little bit, you'll see Howard Chandler Christie is an artist, a very, very famous artist. We're particularly interested in him because he's an Ohio artist. But again, equally famous, much earlier than Norman. But you can see in this particular painting that includes a scout, the influence these illustrators in this room had on Norman, including the inclusion of the founders behind the scout kind of as apparitions. And you'll see that continued in Norman's work. Another famous painter has done this. This is Ruiz, and his things, he's very famous wildlife painter. And it's also rare. He did a lot of work, but almost, I think, approximately 4,000 of the pieces that were in his estate are all in one collection in Canada. So there aren't a whole lot scattered about, but he's a really renowned painter, and his themes of scouting, being in the wilderness, and animals are particularly cogent for the Boy Scouts. So then we move on to probably the next most famous artist in the collection next to Norman Rockwell, and that is Joseph Leidendecker. And what makes him important is he really was America's foremost illustrator from the late 1890s through the 1930s or 40s, working with the U.S. government in World War I on bonds. This happens to be a scouting theme. He also did 322 Saturday Evening Post covers. The only person who did more was Rockwell. And Rockwell and he were close, and so I think really not only did he look up to him, but he was a mentor and an influence. And interestingly, when he passed away in 1962, Norman was one of the pallbearers.
717 Credit Union. Business services designed to meet your daily needs. Commercial loans, business deposits, merchant and payroll services. 717 Credit Union. It's knowing you were treated right every time.